Cheat Code Support Strategist by My Head in the Clouds Not Coming Down. Read by Rat Overlord. Chapter 83 Battles. Summary: the fight is coming to a head. Dabi was supposed to be able to focus on traumatizing Shoto tonight, but no! Of course he had to go and find the stupid gamer boy who should never have been put in charge of the league to begin with and kill him. Trapper had tried to give them as much info on the school's layout as possible, but it had been built by a literal rat, so it was a maze. Speaking of the rat, Dabi was betting that he'd find Shigaraki right in his office. It was probably near the center, basing things on a traditional rat maze, but he wasn't too concerned about solving anything right now. That was what the new recruits' quirks were for, after all.
Just compress the walls in front of us,
Dabi ordered.
We're not playing by the rules of their little game.
The frog girl was pretty cute, and Himiko was still deciding on her opinion when it came to the mushroom girl, but she thought the lizard girl could definitely use some improvements. Why don't you bleed when you split apart? You'd be so much cuter if you just bled a little more.
Yeah, because that's not creepy at all,
Setsuna muttered. The disembodied hands were grasping at the ugly gas mask around Himiko's neck, and she would have given it up if it hadn't also been connected to her blood canisters to let her drink on the go. Not that she had any blood in them at the moment, but she was working on that.
Oh, come on! I just want a little taste of your blood!
Himiko cried out.
I'm only gonna hurt you a little. Doesn't that sound like fun? No!
All three girls answered in unison. And it would have been cute if they were just bloodied up a little bit more. The frog girl's tongue came barreling towards her again, and she managed to slash it with her knife, but the attack created an opening for the lizard girl to send a leg and kick her in the back of the knees, which then allowed the frog girl to wrap her tongue around the mask and pull. The tubing popped out, and Toka scowled as she stood back up.
That was totally not cute!
Setsuna, get out of here! The mushroom girl said. Asui, put on the mask!
Call me Sue. Get up.
The frog girl said, putting on the mask.
Oh, Sue?
Himiko's eyes lit up.
What a cute little name!
The frog girl glared at her from above the mask.
Only my friends get to call me Sue.
Himiko smiled.
Well, I guess that means we're friends that...
Her voice cut out and she suddenly stopped being able to breathe. There was a slight mist in the air.
Mustard?
No, the mushroom girl answered.
Spores! You're not getting anybody's blood tonight!
The mist disappeared, but she could still feel it in her lungs as her vision went spotty. The lizard girl ran back up.
I found a rope! Let's tie her up!
Well, that hadn't been fun at all. Shoji shielded Mei with his arms as Dark Shadow grappled with Moonfish. Shoji could use some armor for his arms, but she'd have to be careful not to restrict his range of movement. Maybe something like a cape made of Kevlar, obviously, and Tokoyami needed some more in terms of defense, and maybe some offense too, but she'd have to experiment, and... Mei forced herself to pay attention to the fight and throw some of her babies. Just some taser marbles, so nothing fancy, but still effective enough that a faceful of them was able to keep Moonfish from slicing off one of Shoji's extra arms. As soon as Moonfish reared back, Shoji dashed forward and yanked the door to the maintenance room open.
Go! We'll make sure he doesn't follow you!
Mei nodded and dropped one more stink bomb just to make sure Moonfish still couldn't rely on his sense of smell, then ran into the maintenance room. She slammed the door behind her, and Mei turned on a flashlight and opened her tool bag.
All right, time to get this baby working again.
Shinso ran through the halls, trying to put as much distance between himself and Minetta as he could. He'd ordered him to go turn himself into the teachers, but Hitoshi wasn't stupid. He knew that the likelihood of something knocking Minetta out of his control before then was almost a guarantee, and he didn't want to be anywhere near the creep when that happened. Isugu had warned them that there had to be another traitor. Why hadn't they focused harder on figuring out Trapper's identity? He scrambled back when Spinner dropped from the ceiling right in front of him.
Hello again, hero. We didn't quite get the chance to finish off our conversation last time.
Ochako teleported to Kota. Hey, I'm gonna get you out of here, okay?
It's him. It's muscular. He killed my mom and dad.
Kota's eyes widened and he pointed over her shoulder.
Watch out!
A punch barreled into her from the side, knocking her through the wall. She groaned and stood up to see the huge villain gloating as he towered over her.
Ha! This is the hero that they sent after me? A puny little girl?
Ochako shifted into a fighting stance. A puny little girl who beat All Might in a fair fight! The villain laughed.
Huh. Oh, you've got spunk, but even All Might couldn't beat me. I'm gonna love killing you, kid!
Ochako grit her teeth.
And I'm gonna love beating that stupid grin off your face!
She felt a tingle run down her spine just in time for Muscular to throw a massive quirk-enhanced punch right at her face. She channeled One for All and moved faster than she thought possible, grabbing him in preparation for a judo flip and activating her quirk so that she could actually slip him completely over her shoulder and slam him into the ground. It didn't even keep him down for a second. He twisted her arm and she yelped as she felt the bone snap.
Pathetic. Maybe killing the kid will be more fun.
She bit her lip and launched herself at him.
Don't touch him!
The most she teleported on repeat had been when she'd first developed her quirk. Ever since she'd learned to control her jumps, she hadn't teleported more than 2 or 3 times in a row. The only exception had been the mall, but even then she'd only been teleporting herself. The only time she teleported on repeat with another person in tow had been that one time with All Might, and that had been only twice. She knew it'd be draining, but at that moment, she really couldn't bring herself to care. She grabbed onto Muscular and teleported to every single one of her classmates, not staying at any one of them long enough for Muscular to get his bearings. Around number 10, she started getting nauseous, but she didn't stop. She wasn't going to let this guy hurt Kota or anybody else. She let loose a guttural yell as she teleported to Aizawa, pouting as she threw a now exhausted Muscular to the floor. It took her a minute to push down her nausea and realize that there was now an entire room full of people that were all staring at her in shock. Shigaraki was sitting right next to Isuku, who was sitting at Netsu's desk, which was the only reason why she didn't immediately grab him and give him the same treatment as Muscular. He gave a low whistle.
And this is why I'm glad I'm switching sides.
You're still on thin ice,
Isuku said without looking up.
Eraserhead can handle this goon if he wakes up. Hitoshi got himself out, but we know that he's the target, so back him up. The teachers are getting the rest of the students.
Ochako nodded.
Got it! See you soon!
Minetta cursed under his breath as he put on his gas mask. That stupid brainwasher! How had he gotten the jump on him so quickly? And now his bait for cheat code was gone, and the entire attack was so far off plans that it wasn't even close to the same attack. He was out of backup plans to his backup plans, and now was firmly in the improvisation territory, which was not where Trapper preferred to be. He took a deep breath. He could still make this work in his favor. Sure, he'd let Shinso slip through his fingers, but Mustard had already set up the gas trap, and he just needed to make sure that as many of his classmates as possible got caught in it. Most of them still didn't know that he was the traitor, so he'd just lure them into the gas and take down as many as he could. He saw Sero up ahead, his freakishly large elbows backlit against what little light there was.
Hey, do you know what's going on?
Sero's eyes widened, and instead of greeting him like a friend, as Minetta had expected, Sero immediately shot out his tape.
Guys, the traitor's here! Get him!
Minetta swore and used his balls to stick Sero's tape to the wall instead of to him, but he wasn't quite sure what other backup Sero had. Who had he been paired with for the exercise? What members of 1B were around? It had to be more than one person from what Sero had said, so the safest option was, well, to do what he planned to begin with. He may not have planned to have his classmates know his true intentions already, but actually, this made his job, ironically, easier.
Catch me if you can, bitches!
Minetta muttered under his breath.
Until you can't breathe, that is.
He ran as fast as he could into the direction of the gas, running just slow enough that his classmates stayed focused on him and not on the gathering mist until it was too late. He could hear multiple sets of footsteps, probably between 3 and 5, so a good number if everyone fell for his trap. He adjusted his gas mask and kept running until he heard a few thumps behind him, then turned around and doubled back. Sero and a brown-haired kid from 1B had fallen for it, but whatever others there were had gotten away. Minetta shrugged it off and went to find more students. There was no lack of targets wandering the halls at this point. He just had to find some more prey. Hitoshi swallowed and stared down at Spinner.
What conversation? Last I remember, you were trying to kill me. Spinner frowned.
You said I had other people in my head. Explain what you meant. Oh.
Hitoshi hesitated. He could take control right now, but Spinner hadn't seemed intent on killing him at the moment, and he could always brainwash him later. Isuku was always emphasizing how important information was, and for some reason, Hitoshi was intrigued.
Okay. It was just another presence, but it just felt like there were two minds? Two consciousnesses, I guess. It's kinda hard to explain. But whose?
Spinner looked so confused and almost angry.
Whose mind is it? I don't know.
Hitoshi's mind spun. He did not want an angry hero killer.
I might be able to brainwash it, though, to interrogate it. I don't know how else to figure it out. Sorry.
Hitoshi silently cursed himself. He had just offered to brainwash the angry murderer. Of course, that was a brilliant plan. Why not make his opponent angry?
Do it!
Hitoshi reared back in surprise.
What? Do it!
Spinner ordered again.
I'm not going to have another person messing with my head. Not while I go about Stain's important mission. I need to figure out what I'm fighting. So, figure it out, or I swear on Stain's blood I will cut you down where you stand. Okay.
Hitoshi took control immediately.
That's a pretty convincing reason to brainwash somebody, not gonna lie.
He took a deep breath and hoped this actually worked. Honestly, brainwashing Dark Shadow from Tokoyami's brain had been hard enough, and he was still working on taking half control so that people could actually talk under his brainwashing, so there was every chance that this was going to blow up in his face. But if it didn't, it would be really cool. First, he focused on Spinner's mind until he could feel the other presence inside it, then he pushed a little forward. The other mind didn't resist his control, not in the way Dark Shadow's had. In fact, it was almost like it knew what he was trying to do and hesitantly approved of the plan. After he had control of both, he let go of Spinner, not trusting himself to be able to successfully interrogate if he was trying to brainwash multiple people, and oddly enough, he was pretty sure that Spinner wasn't going to kill him until he figured out who the other presence was. So, it was a pretty safe move. Or, at least, Hitoshi hoped so. Then, he dialed back his control. He gave the other presence just enough control to be able to speak, but carefully kept enough that it should answer his questions. If everything went according to plan, that was. So, it was about a 50-50 shot. Hitoshi carefully thought through the wording of his question before speaking, careful to phrase his question as an order.
Tell me who you are.
Spinner's voice spoke blankly.
I am Stain, the hero killer.
It took all of Hitoshi's willpower to not drop his control right then and there.
I thought you were dead.
Hitoshi said.
Tell us how you're here. A part of me was torn out when All for One stole my quirk.
Stain answered.
He is the one who had me killed.
Spinner let out a guttural scream, and Hitoshi stumbled back at the sheer rage emanating from him, losing both his control and his footing. He scrambled back as Spinner drew his katana.
He lied! Sensei lied! He told me that the heroes killed Stain! He lied!
Hitoshi didn't know what to say, just scrambled backwards to put as much distance as he could between himself and the hero killers. Both of them. Oh no, he needed to ask a question, and quickly. He froze. No need for Spinner's, Stain's, paralyzation quirk when the hero killers turned on him.
I have no reason to kill you, for now.
Spinner said, fire in his eyes.
I have more important prey to take care of.
He leapt onto the wall and scurried away, and Hitoshi waited for him to disappear completely before falling onto his back in relief.
What the heck just happened?
Ochako suddenly appeared beside him. What did I miss? Howdy y'all. Sorry for the delay. My monkey brain decided to completely forget about recording and I didn't put it in my agenda. My bad. But anyways, if you enjoyed listening, feel free to leave a like or comment down below because I always love hearing from you guys. And make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with whenever I post. And as always, here's your little daily reminder to go slurp up some of that tasty, tasty water.